What do you think Gretchen Whitmer is doing to try and boost her standing in this year political field? Pilates. If you guessed Pilates, you'd be wrong. It would be feeding a woman on her knees a Dorito.
Disgusting. It's so weird.
Which I don't even understand what this is. Like, look.
I interpreted it. First of all, you pointed out on your Twitter, and I agree that it looks very fetishy and weird, but it's clearly a mockery of the Eucharist, right? She's like delivering this as if she's a priest giving the body of Christ to a parishioner. She's feeding a Dorito to a citizen, which it's just weird.
Food coloring is pretty toxic, I think.
Okay, and you have 2 daughters. When they come back home and they leave their Stanley cups lying around, do you ever think about getting a post-birth abortion?
Well, first of all, thank you for raising that because there's no such thing.
Great.
So I think it's really important for us to make sure people understand that when.
I don't understand how they just lie. It's like they're just evil because it was former Governor Northam, right? It was Northam, and he was like, the baby will be delivered, then will be made comfortable, brought into another room where the doctor and the mother will make a decision. Like, what do you think that means?
This is one of the only things Obama voted against in the Senate, by the way, was a bill that would require you to save a child that was born after a botched abortion.
Here we go. You ready?
Okay, and then speaking of men who lie, would you rather be in a forest alone with Donald Trump or with a bear?
A bear.
A bear?
Yes.
That's a lie.
Why?
Yeah.
Because I might have a better shot of reasoning with the bear.
He'll actually listen.
You know what this reminds me of?
She should try it.
I'm sorry. This reminds me of a bit that I have to pull up right now from Ryan Long and Danny Polishchuk.
Both geniuses, by the way.
And Seamus knows exactly what I'm talking about.
We were crying earlier watching this.
We were crying.
crying.
Yeah.
While you're finding it, Seamus, will you do a cartoon where somebody asks the bear if they'd rather be alone?
That's hilarious. Yes, Bear's like, look, I don't want to be alone with any of these women. These are all lunatic lefties. They're gonna say I misgendered them or something and destroy my life. I don't need that.
You'd be like, Kamala Harris or a bear hunter. And the bear's like, I'll take the bear hunter.
Would you rather, you ask the bear, would you rather be trapped in the woods with Donald Trump or Gretchen Whitmer? And he goes, well, Donald Trump. Then he's like, have you seen the video? She'd rather be with me than Donald Trump. Here we go. Here we go. Shout out to Ryan Long.
You know, recently there's been a lot of articles pointing out how men are far less emotionally intelligent than women and how that's been ruining their relationships.
Oh, yeah. You know, I always say the wife's more intelligent than me. Emotionally, of course.
You know, it's unfortunate, but it's a department that we lack in. Last week, we're at the airport. Our plane gets delayed an hour, whereas my natural instinct would be to say, it is what it is. There's nothing we can do. Brittany had the emotional intelligence to realize this is a big deal. We should be arguing with anyone who will listen, and in general, just going ballistic, regardless of whether or not it'll help.
Look, it's not about whether or not it helps.
No.
For example, say you plan an outdoor event and it begins to rain. An emotionally unintelligent person like myself might suggest some sort of alternative or contingency, or maybe we'll do it on another day, as opposed to realizing that this is in fact the end of the world and you should be flying off the handle.
You know, whether you're reading an article about COVID coming back or your Uber Eats driver brings you the wrong order, we as men do not have the emotional intelligence to realize that not only is this something we should be freaking out about, but we should also be becoming actively hostile to others who are remaining calm.
Dude. Ryan and Danny, a grand slam on that one. But look, when I watched this ridiculous thing, it is insanity. And I'm just going to throw it back to that woman. We were covering the segment previously where a woman's like, Donald Trump is, it was funny what she says. He's like, you're going to vote for Trump or Kamala over Trump? And she goes, yeah, because I know what Trump has done. What did Trump do? I actually don't know. I don't watch any clips. She had no idea what she was talking about. I look at this stuff with Whitmer and this woman, and these are people who clearly have no idea what's going on and are just, they may as well be playing some kind of weird, I don't know, a Simon Says game with each other where they're trying to figure out what is or is not acceptable based on arbitrary criteria. Meanwhile, me, who's just horribly emotionally unintelligent, thinks that we should have logic and reason behind the decisions we make that will ultimately lead to more fruitful society. If only I was as emotionally intelligent as Gretchen Whitmer.
Yeah.
I just think without Donald Trump, they would have very little to talk about. And that is sort of a problem among itself, right? If they're supposed to be two average to above average intelligent women, why are all these jokes so lame? And why can't you actually articulate a new and original thought? Oh, you don't like Donald Trump? You're recycling a joke that was kind of viral months ago? Like, okay,
yeah.
You can drop Stanley cups because you're kind of making fun of basic white girls. Like, I don't get it. It's just not that deep, and you're not that good at this.
Well, also, I mean, man, I hate to be that guy, but
no, you don't.
I don't. I love being this guy. I love being this guy. If A male politician was like, I think I would be able to reason with an animal better than I can reason with a woman. I think that might send shockwaves through the media. In fact, I think that would end that man's political career. Unless, honestly, Trump's someone who might be able to get away with saying it, but he wouldn't say that.
It's if he was like a dog, if they're like, you be in the woods with a dog or with Kamala Harris, and you're like, I'd take the dog because the dog could help you hunt. But if it was a hostile animal that wanted to eat you,
specifically about Kamala Harris, no, I mean if it's specifically Kamala Harris, I might even pick like a hostile animal.
A bear? Wait, you're that guy.
Yeah, but what, I'm not sitting there. No, she said just a man. Oh, she said Donald Trump or a bear. That's fine. I thought she said a man or a bear. Okay,
no, it's Donald Trump specifically.
Yeah.
Specifically.
This is like. She lied because obviously if really it came down to the end of the show and it's like I have no choice, I'm in the woods alone, I can have this guy I don't like or a wild bear next to me right now, I'd take the guy I don't like, thank you. It's like she has never really faced professional consequences for lying.
Well,
it's kind of what or this is a sketch. Is that a journalist that's talking to her, or is that just some actor? Like, is this supposed to be a sketch?
Podcaster, I think.
A podcaster. So they're just having. It's like it's blending the line between politics and fake sketches, and people don't know that.
I'm just saying, I would still pick a bear over Kamala because she has a Glock.
The bear or Kamala?
Kamala has a Glock.
Do we know that she knows where it is?
Yeah, exactly. She couldn't answer a question about it. Yeah.
I'd take Kamala. She's smart.
She doesn't know the difference.
She probably knows how to get a fire started.
I don't think Kamala knows how to get. I really do.
Bro, did you see her try to open that beer on Colbert?
No.
I'm sorry. The first thing when I saw the clip, I was like, did she ever have a beer before? Oh, man. The way she was looking at it, the way she grabbed it and tried to crack it open, the way she took a little sip and then put it down. Okay, first of all, I'll say this: she doesn't drink beer. She drinks wine, I bet. Even SNL roasted her for being a wine drunk, but she doesn't drink beer. Okay, she's not gonna be able to start a fire.
Mm-hmm. Man, why'd they have her drink alcohol on TV? That's crazy. Like she might really be
because Colbert.
Because that's right. What they think. This is how low of an opinion they have of your average American. They think a regular working class guy is going to see that and go like, "Whoa, Kamala likes beer. I like beer. She's cool."
I got a cartoon for you. It's a guy watching TV and he's watching Colbert hand her a beer and crack it open, and then he looks down at his cooler and it's empty. And then he looks at he goes, "Rah." He gets up and he opens his wallet and it's empty. He's like, "Rah!" And then he can't even have beer. Or it's like his beer is empty and he can't have one.
Certainly not the champagne of beers.
Not the champagne of beers. She like turns the can to read it and she's like, "The champagne of beers." Like, ma'am, you asked for Miller High Life. Have you ever seen a can of Miller High Life before? No. Her staffers asked for it. She probably doesn't even know what a beer looks like.
Mm-hmm. Her staffers probably tested a bunch of different brands. They're like, that one's too controversial. We got to go with this one. I just want to point out that Whitmer is deeply involved with the Kamala Harris campaign. She was one of the first people to endorse. I think she either is an advisor on the campaign or she's heavily involved with one of the big super PACs. And so this is another perspective into apparently what we can expect from female Democratic politicians in America. Like, they think this is the best media move. And I just don't. I think that there is a level of sort of gross self-absorption in all of this. And I don't think that even, young moderate women would find this relatable or enjoyable.
I just want to say, I'm kind of a liberal guy, right? So I don't have the disgust reaction reflex that Seamus has. And he does. Like when Kamala went and called her daddy, my reaction was, haha, what a fool, what an idiot. Seamus was legit like, turn it off. This is disgusting.
Well,
right?
What happened was I tried listening to some of it, and it was just, at some point, it was more of a moral disgust, because they don't actually get into discussing anything like viscerally repulsive. They're not talking about the gross sexual degenerate stuff there, but right. they were talking about stuff that was pretty morally repugnant.
The reason I bring this up is that, depending on the subject matter, Seamus, who is of good moral standing, will be like, no, this is bad.
I don't know about that, but...
And someone like me, growing up in the city, and I'm not a Christian conservative guy, I'm more tolerant. But I got to tell you, this clip I'm going to show you from Whitmer fills me with absolute disgust.
This is gross.
And I say something like, Kamala's disqualified because she did not do this thing right, or she's giving away our money in this regard. Gretchen Whitmer should be disqualified from office for this video.
It's super gross.
I just have no idea. This fills me with like, the feeling you get when you feel like you're going to throw up.
Yeah.
Combine that with rage, like anger.
Oh man, and that's projectile vomit territory.
It is. It's like it's going to go like. So the video, for those that are just listening, is this woman on her knees. And Gretchen Whitmer slides a Dorito into her mouth with weird pop music, and then she shakes her head and smiles, and Gretchen Whitmer gives this weird look to the camera. It looks like weird fetishist content.
And her Harris Walls hat.
And a Harris Walls hat. She's clearly trying to insult Christians. Like, that was the message. Insult Christianity.
It looks like either like weird fetish content or like something an AI made. Like show a politician giving food to the masses, and
like one of those Will Smith eating spaghetti AIs.
Yeah, it's just weird.
Is that her like showing?
Those don't disgust me.
Like is she being like, I'm feeding you grapes, like kind of metaphor, like I'm your servant, whoever this woman is.
Girl
Like,
looks
reparations.
Super. I guess she's whatever this Instagram handle is. Feministabulous. I don't know how to pronounce that. It looks like the girl is sort of worshiping at the feet of Gretchen Whitmer, so thankful to be fed a Dorito. I know people have drawn comparisons to receiving the Eucharist.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It looks like it's trying to mock that.
Whatever it is, it's weird and unappealing. Like, Gretchen Whitmer doesn't look like she respects this other woman in the room. She doesn't look like she's a very nice person. And so this is our, politician? There are people who think Gretchen Whitmer is going to run for president in 2028. I mean, this is the attitude and culture that is supposed to be representing female politicians in America? I hope not.
It's very, very creepy and very weird. And I assume the Dorito thing is supposed to be a reference to Kamala Harris talking about eating Doritos. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
When she was doing her, like, I'm a relatable, normal person, I eat Doritos thing. That
Doug
was...
Emhoff and Tim Walz were, like, rushing to hand her bags of Doritos in the gas station, that one clip.
Are they funding? Is the Doritos company funding the Walls Harris campaign?
Frito-Lays?
She's sponsored by them.
Frito-Lays owns Doritos.
What do you? I don't want to put you on the spot, but I just want to rope you into that. Like, when you see this, like, what do you think? Yeah. Like, when you see this, like, what do you?
How does this make you feel?
Yeah, how does this make you feel?
I don't really know. I think what bothers me about this whole ordeal is, and I'm not particularly a smart man, but when I see all this parading, especially in politics, but especially this time around, because I think Harris is just a very bad actor. I think you need to be good at acting in some regard to pull off a lot of these things. And watching all these overt, hey, look, I'm just like you type things, that's what's disgusting to me. I can't stand that kind of stuff. I can't stand when somebody opens a beer and sips it. It's like their Tinder bio says, I love beer, and they don't. They drink White Claw. I don't like.
She should have had a White Claw. That would have been way funnier if she had been like, "Look, this is what I like." I think people would have responded better to that. But they're pandering so hard, which I think is what you are turned off by.
Do they think that some working class white dude is looking at Kamala being like, I'd like to have a beer with her? No. That was the argument they made about Tim Walz. They were like, well, who would you rather have a beer with? Tim Walz. What was it? There was some guy on some late night show or something, or CNN, and he's like, my neighbor is like a Republican guy. And he said, yeah, but I'd rather have a beer with Waltz. And I'm like, I wouldn't. I'd rather have a beer with Vance. JD Vance plays Magic the Gathering.
Oh, we should game with them, dude. Yeah. Yes, rock. I'd rather have a beer.
Oh, they're so mad about this too. I'm sorry, but like when word got out that JD Vance played Magic, all of these woke Magic people were like, and they're screaming. And then they found out I played Magic. They got so mad.
Dude, it's gonna be so fun. Let's play, Commander. Let's get pre-made decks though, so it's balanced, because otherwise you're gonna stomp. But anyway, I'd rather have a beer with Joe Biden. For sure. At this stage where him getting shoved aside, I want to hang with that dude and because he's like
he's loose-lipped and mad right now. He's giving all the secrets out.
What classified stuff is he just going to accidentally let slip? Or you're like, what did he just say?
So
and he doesn't even remember he said it?
Yeah, I'm starting to like him more and more now that I see he's like just pissed that he got shoved aside. Like, I just sense that in him, that he's just like,
he always had kind of like an attitude. He would get abrasive. I mean, he's always had kind of a temper.
Get vaccinated.
Well, here's a question. You'd grab a beer with Joe Biden, but would you let Joe Biden feed you a Dorito while you kneeled? That's the
depends on how drunk I was.
That's the other thing.
How hungry I was.
A feminist podcaster would never do that if she had a male guest on her show.
Can you imagine?
It's weird that she's okay with this weird stance.
And it would be, that's the other thing, is it would just be weird. Like, if a feminist podcaster did that with a male guest, like, it wouldn't, like, red pillars and stuff wouldn't even think that was cool. It would still just be uncomfortable for everybody. Who likes that? Who's watching
I was thinking that if that had been me and she was feeding me the Dorito, how weird that would have been.
I was thinking about it. I was thinking, who is this for?
Yeah.
When you first played it, I was like, who is this for? Who sees this? And they're like, yeah, I want to vote for these people for sure.
I wasn't going to, and then
Whitmore is actively a governor right now, right?
That's
like,
wild.
Isn't that crazy? This is a sitting politician in America.
Doesn't she have a kidnapping to stage or whatever? Or I guess that was
that was already done, and actually the FBI was involved. The whole thing.
Did this spawn from like a show she did with that podcaster?
I think it's the promotional video for this interview that we saw clips of in the Post-Millennial
so this
article.
is a style of humor that I don't get.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.